Myrick, we've had conversations, and my assholiness has come out a couple times. The one I even had to call you back and say, "Hey, man, you know what? I put you in a bad spot there. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize." And that's because I have this mentality sometimes. It's not good that it's either I gotta win, or and I can't, and especially in the past when I was younger, if I saw someone else winning, somehow that was a detriment to me, and it's not. Myrick can win, maybe not a specific race that we're both in, but Myrick can win and do awesome, and that ain't gonna stop me from coming up or doing what I need to do. And it took me a long time to understand that. So, because I'm a slow learner, kind of an idiot. So the thing is that I have to have a competitive outlet, because I mean, I love it, man. I love that there's an expiration date on what we do. I love it. I love that business is awesome. I love trying to win a business. Obviously, it's good for my family. It's, all that stuff. But there's nothing like, especially when I was younger, going, okay, December 17th, I'll know if I'm world champion or not. After a year of work, after going to 8 different countries, on December 17th, I'll know if I've done enough, or I'll know if I didn't, and I'll know what I need to fix.
It's black and white at that point.
That's it. We had a championship that came down to me and you, Myrick, here in Fort Myers is actually where we finished it that year. That was after COVID? Yeah, it was after COVID. So it was 20 or 19? No, 21 probably.
21. Yep.
And I sent you and Andy a text that morning before we raced.
Yep. I remember it.
Do you remember that?
Yep, I sure do. It was very meaningful.
What was the text?
Do you remember what it said, Mom?
They basically, no matter what happens today, one of us is going to be crowned national champion, but nobody can take anything away from that and what we've done, basically, in a roundabout way. I don't know exact words, but
yeah, and that was basically the gist.
Yeah,
and it was. I was proud of what we accomplished that year. If we win, lose, or draw, and I was happy that I was racing someone like them, because they meaning performance. Especially at the time, we were just a small team. Like, it was, you know what I mean? We're just, it was me and Eric. He's my accountant. Think about that. I raced with my accountant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's my accountant, and he wanted to go racing, and we did. And at the beginning, we were racing out of a pickup truck, and you know what I mean? We were really proud of what we accomplished. But part of what made us proud is that we got to do it against them. Like, they were a standard here in the U.S. Yeah, and they're
basically we were the reigning national champion, and maybe world champion at the time. But anyway,
that's awesome. Yeah,
no, you won it that year. You whooped us in Key West.
Wow.
So let me ask you, Shaun.
That's how I'm dumb. All the years just jumble together. I'm like,
so once again, my wife gets so mad at me. Dude, I can't remember anything, but I can tell you what propeller number I ran in 1996 in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm terrible with dates and everything. I'm like, oh man. I remember I was sitting at lunch last year, and I remember something. I think it might even have been on Facebook. So you're sitting at lunch, and I'm like, oh my God, it's my anniversary, and Tyler's sitting there with me, like, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm just not a date guy at all. Tell me where I got to be, and I'll be there. But I'm not good at remembering that stuff.
Well, actually, I got to ask you a question then. When it comes to racing and stuff, obviously you have the same job as I do. You have to make sure the boat's prepared and it's ready, and you test and you do all that stuff, right? Do you handle any of the other stuff, like where you're staying or how you're getting there or any of that stuff?
No, I used to. When for Dave Scott's crew, I had to do that. Like when I was more crew chief, I had to do that. But as far as the logistics of that, no, I do not have to do any of that.
So, but the week before Key West, and someone put a gun to your head and said, "Where are you staying?" And if you hadn't stayed there before, obviously, if it's not somewhere you stay, they might as well shoot you, right?
Yeah,
people don't understand that.
Yeah,
they ask me all the time. They'll call me, "Well, where are you staying?" I don't know. How the fuck don't you know? I don't know. It's not my job description.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. It's like, it's exactly the same as me too. I mean, I know where, where the center of gravity is on the boat and what drive height is and all that, but yeah, I don't know what where we're staying. So most of the time is like I'll even the text might have came through and I didn't even read it. I'm just like, okay, when I have to look that back up, I know it's there, but I might as well not even read it because I'm not going to recall it or remember it at all. So.
Well, and partially it's because of my racing overseas too, because I got so used to it. Like when you race for Abu Dhabi, all that stuff's handled. You just show up, right? So like I'm going to China and I don't know where I'm staying. I don't know where I'm going. There's just going to be someone there. Like, you know what I mean? So you're getting on the plane and going, yeah. And my wife at the beginning was like, are you serious? I'm like, I have no clue.
Yeah. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's see what happens. It'll be all right. It'll be fun either way. I guarantee you I'll have a story.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've retired from the F1, but you're going to continue racing here in the States with the Superstock class as well as the 450 class with the Mead Family Racing. And you brought young Caleb in Sheboygan last year to a first place finish. 16 years old, right? When he was in the cockpit with you?
16 years old. And a week after being so scared that I had to go 60 mile an hour, it's the first time I ever got lapped in my life.
So how did you get him to
imagine that? Like that's so I had, man, and people ask me all the time, so like, why do you still love racing and all that stuff? And it's kind of changed. Whereas before it was like, I need to accomplish this. I need to accomplish that. And now it's so much cooler because of situations like that.
Situations like Willie getting to win a world championship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got it twice this year. So with Caleb, we go from getting lapped at the first race because he just wasn't comfortable, and I had to prove to him that he could trust me. So he wants me to go slow, I'm going slow. And don't get me wrong, I was bitter after. I was like 35 years and I get lapped. Like, this is crazy. Like, this sucks. You know what I mean? But you got it. He's got the guy over there, Myrick's got to trust you. He's just got to. So went slow, got lapped. Go the next weekend. We test. First day is flat, which was good for him, just confidence-wise. We finished second, I think. Drove from 7th to 2nd. He did an awesome job. Next day is rough, and I nailed the setup. And we just leave everybody. And it was he just did awesome. The only thing he messed up was he saw the white flag. I didn't want him to see the white flag. Man, he was a mess the last lap because he saw the white flag. I'm like, dude, just do the same thing. You're good. And he's, he just wants to, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to mess it up. So, and he didn't have experience. So that was awesome. And then fast forward to Key West. A lot of people didn't know, but Caleb was never racing in Key West because Zane and Amanda, his parents, they treat Key West like most poker runners treat Key West. They act like 17-year-olds for a week and act like fools and have fun and cut up and that's their release. So they said they don't want. And let me tell you something first about the Mead family. The most amazing thing about them, before I raced with them, when Randy called me, I said, well, I need to meet the kids and the parents because, man, a 16-year-old kid with $1 million race boat, it's usually not a good recipe for a nice kid. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to race with someone that's a jerk.
There's a stereotype there, and it was inaccurate on this kid.
Oh my God, was it? Because the jerk in the boat's still me by a lot. Like he's so nice and respectful, and you know what I mean. Like
I've said it on a couple different podcasts. I mean, this kid comes up, and I'm expecting some dumb shit to come out of his mouth, and he's like, "Man, so how'd the boat feel today?" And he's asking questions and stuff like that, and I'm like, "This kid's smart." And he's asking a lot of good questions, and
correct. And he loves it. So he asked Zane and Amanda that, can I come work for Shaun this summer for a month, when he's out of school, or 2 months? Can I just go there and, that way I can be there and work on it? And of course, Zane was like, yeah, hell yeah. And Amanda gave side eye because she knows I'm a child too. So, you know what I mean? Luckily my wife's around to keep everything together.
Character.
Correct. So anyways, that was amazing. So then we go to Key West. Randy calls me a few weeks before, probably a month before, and says, will you race with Willie? And I said, sure. You know what I mean? I'll race with Willie. But I said, what's the situation with Gary? I said, they need to be respectful with Gary, make sure he knows. I don't want him hearing it from someone else. And you know what I mean? So they call Gary. They let him know that Willie said, look, it's my decision. Okay. we go test in Miami for 2 days before Key West, and because I didn't know what to expect, because I had heard a lot of things, and obviously the results weren't where they wanted them to be. So we go test, and honestly, he did everything I asked him to do. We turned the boat. I was giving him instruction on how I want to turn the boat, and he felt really comfortable with that. And so I think we were 3/4 of a second or half a second off of what Johnny and Taylor were turning at the same test session. So I felt pretty good about that, because in testing I'm 70 or 80%, and he's not 100% either, because he doesn't know everything I want. And then we tested the next day a bunch of propellers and stuff just to get baselines on everything, because they didn't really have a lot of data. And we went to Key West. And the biggest thing I kept telling Willie was, we're going there to win. We're not going there to, get a podium. We're going there to win. You have to be in that mindset, and he totally is. We kind of bonded a little bit over David Goggins. Do you guys know who David Goggins is?
No.
Oh, he's a psychopath, but incredible. So David Goggins, if you look him up on the internet, the most famous meme that comes up is, or it's not a meme, it's like a GIF, but he's an ultra marathon runner. This is a guy that at like 29 years old was obese, and he decided, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. And he had check this out, he had no formal education. He was basically an orphan, black guy, overweight, and says, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. And he started running, and he lost the weight, and he went to Navy SEAL, whatever they call it. I forget what they call it. He washed out the first time, made it to within a week of passing and washed out, went back again and passed it. Then decided, nope, I'm also going to be an Army Ranger. Does that too. Gosh. So fast forward, he's an ultra marathon runner. Made millions of dollars from ultra marathon running. So in other words, ultra marathon's 100 miles. He's run up like Everest with a torn ACL. Like he is a psycho. Like, but in the craziest, best way possible. And what he always says is,
you tell him it's impossible, and he's like, absolutely not. Yeah. It's not impossible.
Right. So he goes. So the most famous video of him, because he doesn't do a lot of social media and stuff, but the most famous video of him is, he says, I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock to go run, and I get to the edge of the bed, and I see my shoes that I got to run in. And this ain't going to be okay for TV, but he goes, fuck them shoes. I don't want to fucking put them shoes on. Fuck them shoes. I don't want to do this. This is going to suck. And then he puts the shoes on, and he starts running. And the whole time, he's like, this sucks, but I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So Willie has shot bows with this guy before. He knows him, and so we kind of bonded over him. So anyways, we get down there, and we test. And I'm like, dude, we're good. Don't worry about it. I decide the props I'm going to run. And I go, here's what's going to happen. They're going to drop the flag. They're going to squirt us. Okay, that's what's going to happen. They're going to squirt us. But we're going to have enough legs that we're going to get down there. And if we get through the first corner first, they're done. It's over. So, drop the flag. We nail it. Nikki squirts us, but you got to know your competitors. I knew what they were going to run. They were going to run something smaller. So, Nikki squirts us. Hanks is on the inside. They squirt us, but I'm not really worried about them. No one else squirts us, so I'm like, all right. They're probably 5 boat lengths ahead. We're halfway down to the first turn, right? And I'm looking over, and I'm waiting for the boat to come to us. And I'm looking over, and he's getting nervous. And I go, dude, we're good. Watch. Here it comes. Tab down, roll, get down there, beat him down by 2 boat lengths, go through the first corner. He does an awesome job, win the race. Come off plane. He goes, that was incredible. I go, what do you mean, dude? You did an awesome job. Like, that's awesome. We got to go get the flag. You've never done that, right? No. Well, I'll explain to you how to do it. And I go, and I just said it just like this. I go, man, I knew it in my heart you could do it. I knew it. I knew it in my heart you could do it when we tested the first time. And he looks at me, and you're talking about a guy that's, I think Willie's like 56 or something, and has more money than all of us combined, and probably half the pits, could buy anything he wants, but he can't buy that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he can't buy that. And he looks at me, and he said, thank you. And he starts to cry, which makes me start to cry because I'm way over emotional. And dude, those moments like that guy's my family for the rest of my life. Like, it was an amazing thing.
That feels the same way I'm with Tyler and I on the boat. Same way. I mean, he's so sincere and so happy to experience it and appreciates it.
Yeah. Well, we had said, I mean, Willie, he's just the nicest guy ever. And then for you to coach him to get his first checkered flag was amazing, and I caught you guys right after the first win, and he was just over the moon. And then couldn't say enough about your system where you're tracking everything via your computer and
AIM.
fine tuning everything with that.
AIM, yes. That's what all the stock class loves when I'm carrying around my laptop all the time.
I want to take his laptop and hit him with it.
No, that's all. It's my emotional support laptop. I always have it with me.
He got his backpack with his laptop in there. I see him walking over there. I'm like, fucker.
No, I know. I see it all the time. I see the sign all the time, and I appreciate it. It's okay. I appreciate it too. So anyways, I teach him how to get the flag, and then we get back to the trailer, and he goes, "How did you know that was going to happen?" And I go, "Honestly, it was about an 80% chance because I know the people I'm racing against, but it wasn't 100%. But the reality was that's the best thing we were going to put on the boat for that day for us. So if we got beat, then we got beat. But it's not because we didn't have the best thing on the boat. So I'll take those chances every time, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you have those experiences, like I said before, it was about me winning and I want to win this. But man, when you get to give those feelings to someone that never thought they could get that and spent 2 years struggling in the back, or someone that's 16 and just wanted to finish the race. The first race in Michigan City, the parents told me, Amanda and Zane told me, they said, here's the deal. You bring him back to the dock in one piece. If you get fourth, I think there were 6 boats there, we will be a little upset. If you get third, we're going to be upset. If you get second, we're going to be pissed. If you win, you're fired.
Yeah.
You understand?
I remember you telling me that there.
Yeah. So then we go to the next race, and the same little, Amanda Mead, that's just like my wife, little girl, she's going, she's just, and we come by first, and she's telling me, she's going, that's right, motherfucker, you guys go! Same person, 1 week later. It was awesome. So, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it takes confidence for the team owner, mom, whatever, just like it takes confidence for the driver or throttle man.
And here's the deal, like they didn't grow up around this, right? So they're going on Randy's word. Like they don't really know me. They don't know my background like that. Like she looked it up, and you know what I mean? And she called me a few times, and asked this, that, the other, just about racing in general and how it's going to go. But they don't really know you. They're just going off of Randy's word. Like, hey, this guy's good. He'll take care of him. And that and I also have like the most important package in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like to them. Like
I was just going to say, it's one thing for somebody to do it themselves, but to put their baby into the cockpit with you and entrust them with doing what you guys
just
do.
Like Cocoa Beach a couple years ago. I had Taylor sitting next to me in her first race, you know what I mean? And Randy's on the radio freaking out, right? Because Randy's, you know what I mean? He's excited but nervous at the same time.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's just like with Randy Sherrill saying, like, no, and him saying like, okay, I get it. No, because it's their pride and joy in there.
Exactly.
I have the same feeling with my son. He's wanting to race now. And, obviously I don't have the money to put him in a boat or anything like that. But I think I would feel a little bit more hesitant to do it because at that point, not will people only look at you like, hey, you were the one that put your kid in that boat. Yeah. But somebody wanted him to be in there. But if they're like, we paid, we bought the boat, we did all this, and we're going off a lot of people's word that they're going to take care of my kid, my boat, and everything. I could see where it would be a big question mark on somebody's head, but obviously they did.
So wait, but I have a question for you on that, Myrick. How old is he now?
He's 15. He's 16 in September.
It's getting there. We're working on a class for him, by the way.
Is that the 24-foot cats?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mercury's sending me an engine to test. So it'll be badass.
Especially he was wanting to get in the 700 class, and I'm like, man, open boats just spook me.
It's more dangerous than your Super Cat.
Yeah, exactly. So,
in my opinion. And that's nothing against those classes. I give credit to those guys that do it, but I just don't see it.
Your head's out there with another boat that can possibly come up and hit you.
But my question really wasn't that. Here's my real question, because I ran into it with my daughter. Do you want him to race boats?
No.
Okay, but why?
The fear of him getting hurt. I want him to do it for the fact that I know he loves it, and just the same reason that I would have you back when I was 15 years old. My dad wasn't a racer. My dad, was a factory worker. So I would, if you said we could have raced lawnmowers, I would have been for it, But the fact that I don't know what it is. It's just the dad in me, I guess. I want him to be successful.
I ran into that with
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I ran into that with my daughter. So the positives of racing is if your kid's racing a boat, Myrick, there's a good chance that he's going to kind of stay out of trouble because he wants to keep racing that boat, number one. And he has something that he's going to focus on and care about, and it'll teach him a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that racing taught me was, as much as it's hard for people to understand, it really teaches you that no matter what you do in life, there's thousands of hours of work for seconds of real, true joy. Right. And that allows you to be successful in other areas. But I didn't want my daughter to race boats, but it wasn't because I was worried about her getting hurt or any of that stuff. We went, it was probably 10 years ago, to a Region 5 test day for J Hydro. Okay. So, little kids, J Hydro, 15 horse, for people that know, it's 15 horse, little hydroplane, goes like 40 something mile an hour. It's got a restrictor plate for kids. And she goes and tests, and she does really well. But while we were there, it's Region 5, so it's where I grew up. But I must have heard 7 times or 8 times them, people talking to her and go, "Oh, cool, you're going to be just like your dad." And I'm like, no, she's here to have a good time. This has nothing to do with results. You know what I mean? I wanted her to enjoy herself and for it to be for her. So when she found horseback riding outside of racing, I was really excited because, number one, she's very competitive like I am. So she learned, I don't know if you know about horseback, but she learned on this thing called, like, it's hunter, which means you got to ride a certain way and it's judged, which we hate. But then because she wanted to be a jumper. The jumper's like our racing. It's heights, time, you hit a rail. I knew if she wins when she walks out, there's no judging. It's just time and rails. And so that's what she really wanted to do, and that's what she got into. But the best part about it for me was that I could go there and no one knew who I was. I was just an idiot dad yelling at, for her to go. And it was totally about her. So that's why I was curious how you felt about that, because you cast a shadow now. I mean, not physically. I mean, what I mean, metaphorically.
Yeah. Well, I get it. And then say that he doesn't do good, or maybe it isn't for him, then he's going to use that, as a negative in his life. So, yeah, I mean, it's a part of being a dad and letting them. I haven't pushed it. I haven't been said, "Hey, you're going to be a boat racer one day." I mean, he works at the shop. He washes the boats. I see him dock them. I see him hang out with some customers and help them, because, I mean, you want a good mate in your boat. You put him in there. He's got bumpers out. He's telling them how to tie it up, stuff like that. And, there might be times he goes, "Man, they don't know anything." I was like, "I know, you're valuable to them. So, hang around with them and you'll teach them something."
So he loves it, though. He loves it.
He loves it.
Well, in the offshore racing, it's almost inevitable, right? Because there's so many generations falling downwards. We got Taylor underneath Randy, and Nick and Prussia underneath Joey, and now Reese Langheim's boys racing now, and
Connor.
It just goes on and on and on.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. It's gonna have to be on somebody else's pocketbook, though. It's definitely not mine. So.
Oh, come on. You probably got a small fortune there, because you're like me, you don't own any race boats.
Yeah, I got my bass boat. There's a small fortune in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of owning race boats, Shaun, tell us about the S2 Powerboats with Sean Connor.
It's a project we started July of, I don't know what year that was. Whatever year it exploded. You were there. So anyways, it started back then. And the only problem that we have right now with stock class is that you don't really have any options. You can buy one brand and you're kind of stuck with that brand and what they give you. And sometimes that doesn't meet the expectations or requirements for some people. That's the best way to say it. So we said we're going to do something completely different and new. I had a relationship with Aki Mannerfeld from Abu Dhabi because we were talking about doing a project that got derailed by COVID. It was kind of already not started, but it was definitely, the framework was already in place. So I called up Aki and said, would you consider doing this with us? And he jumped at the chance, and Shaun was on board, and we started it. And you know, I'm sure, as Myrick can attest, building a boat is not easy. It's there's a lot of, for us, we don't build the boat here, so we're basically subcontracting that out, and so it's difficult because maybe things aren't happening the way as fast as you want them to happen, and as
Takes a
quick,
lot
and
of
maybe the
money.
quality isn't where you want it to be, but it's all part of the learning process. The first one, we made it to the shootout, which was a small miracle, and then the second one is about 3/4 of the way done now. I should have it hopefully by the end of the month, and that's our first real race boat. So that we're going to race. The record one was to go in a straight line, and it did its job and proved it in Key West because it would not turn. And so we've changed the bottom to something more traditional for offshore racing as far as the bottom goes. But we were super happy with the aero, the safety. It's got a truly it's probably the only, well, for sure in stock class, other than the victories, even though the victories have kind of timed out, is the only complying cockpit to the new rules. It's 13,000 newtons. It's got 3/4 inch flat glass. It's got a mask. It's got full crash boxes all the way around it. So we're really happy with that. It doesn't mean something can't happen, but we have the best chance, of surviving and walking away from a crash. So we're really, really excited about it. And man, I can't wait to get this next one and get it tested and then get to the first race, because if you go back a year, we had an MTI that we took to Key West that we had to modify just to make the class, make it fit. And it was too heavy because of the way we modified it quickly to get it there. And we were way off. We were probably a last place boat. We were a last place boat on performance. And we ended up breaking it anyways. And then we came and cut it apart in our shop into 4 pieces and narrowed it, got the weight down where it needed to be, tested it, and made a really competitive boat out of it. It wasn't dominant by any means, but it was super competitive. We won 3 races with it this year, won the national championship with it, and we're really, really proud of that. So if we can take even half that step from what we did in Key West with S2 to what we're going to do with the new one, because that was a massive step. If we do half that step just from the performance-wise, because the boat's super fast, it's just a matter of handling, we'll have a really, really good piece. And what people don't realize is, like, we could keep running the MTI and we can be competitive, but I don't want to be competitive. I want to be dominant. I want to build something that changes the game and that allows us to have an advantage that not everybody else has. So we never started this going, we're going to be a boat company like they are, like Myrick is, or like Randy is. We're not even trying to build pleasure boats. We want to build a no nonsense race boat that's the best that we can build. And then if other people want to buy it, we'll decide if they can buy it. Someone like Myrick can buy it, but like not everybody can buy it. It needs to be out front. The only thing better than us winning in it is someone else winning in it. So
yeah, that's a, you said it perfectly. I mean, because whether you're rigging one or get a guy into racing, just like you're talking with Willie and the Meads, I mean, nothing more proud. If you're going to get beat by one of your somebody that you taught or somebody that you rigged their boat or whatever. But it's really cool.
Yeah, people don't understand that though, Myrick. They always think you hold back special stuff. They do it to me all the time, and I'm like, dude, you got the exact same thing I got. You want to switch? Because we could switch. You know what I mean? It's the only thing better than me winning is you beating me. Like, that's the only thing better.
That's the only thing better.
They don't get that, but yeah, they don't. We try. The most fun part about this project though is that because of obviously all the parts we make, is that it's the first, other than maybe the MTI, the XRs, because they're very nicely put together, obviously. But other than those, it's the first truly like front to back thought out race boat. So in other words, like the way the hinges fit, the way the escape hatch works, the way everything goes together. It's not like, oh, we got this boat and then we got to make this thing fit. No. It was designed as we went. So we're going to have some really cool features in it just that racers will appreciate, the way the dashes are, the way the vision is, the way the aim systems fit in the dash, the way, it's all I got a really cool belt system that you're gonna like, by the way, Myrick. That's super cool. That I think is I have it in my Formula One boat. It's amazing, and so we're gonna implement it here. So I'm really excited about all the things that we're gonna bring to the table, and then more than that, I just want it to be dominant. I just want to have something that people are like, well, I don't know how we're gonna beat that
Yeah,
because
that's a great
you know.
feeling. I had
Exactly. It was like when
yeah.
when we showed up, honestly, in 21 that first year, you guys were really consistent, but we were quickest. Like I
Yeah.
knew if we didn't break, we could win. Didn't matter where we started. And I want that feeling again.
Yeah. It's a good feeling.
It is. Isn't it? When you
I
go,
got
yeah.
that. I got that in Super Cat right now, and it just got to.
Oh, I know you do.
Got to keep moving that, moving the mark. I guess. I want to get it in
That's
Class
it.
1.
And it's
Yeah.
well,
222 is a
I think
big
you can.
target, though.
Yeah, but I think you can get them because, like, I'm not saying they're not good because they are. Giovanni does a good job, and Darren's a pretty decent driver. But like, the only basis I have for them is in XCAT. We race them in XCAT. And we beat their ass like a drum. Like I don't like. I know they've got that thing hooked up, and I know it's a good boat. But I just think you just need time. I mean, it's your first year. And honestly, where you were to start versus where you were at the end, you guys made huge gains.
Yeah, huge gains. Cool.
Well, Shaun, I heard of a little bird told me of your kryptonite from your championship stuff. Ice cream?
What do you mean? What's wrong with ice cream?
Nothing. That's your Achilles
Man, I don't
heel, right?
drink. I don't
Right.
drink. I don't do drugs. I have a racing problem. There's no doubt about that. Actually, I don't have a racing problem. I've got a competition problem. That's what I got. But yeah, I love me some ice cream now. Don't get me wrong.
What's your favorite?
I love me some
I
ice
think
cream.
Flavia told me your favorite flavor, but I can't remember what it was.
My favorite flavor is ice cream.
Yeah.
I'll eat any of it. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean,
I don't think that's a flavor.
any of it. It doesn't matter. But the deal is, so the crash I had in Formula One was the worst I've ever had. And I'm missing 4 hours of my life, and it took me way longer to recover than I thought it would, honestly. Like, it took a long time.
What parts were hurt on you? Like
my brain, which
your brain.
Can't afford to be hurt because it's not very good as it is. So here's the deal. So the brain is the most amazing thing in the world. So the last thing I remember is watching the rookie guy, Fahim, who didn't do it on purpose. He just was kind of over his head. And I saw him set. And when I saw him set, I go, oh man, this is going to be bad. And I had enough time to grab the down because I was getting ready to set and turn the boat anyways and back off. That's all I could do. And that was just along for the ride. I remember going through the rooster tail, and that's the last thing I remember until I woke up in ICU 4 hours later.
Wow.
Okay. So I wake up, and I'm laying in the bed, and I go, move covers. I go, my hands are okay. My feet still work.
Yeah.
All right. There's nothing sticking in me other than some IVs and shit. So I'm like, all right. Doing good. Not so bad. So I hit the call button. And the nurse comes in. I'm like, am I okay? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, am I okay? Where am I? Oh, well, you're in ICU, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, am I okay? Yes, you're just here for observation. But you might have a kidney stone. I go, okay. How do you know that? Oh, well, we did an MRI. We did a CAT scan. We did this. We did that. Okay, cool. No problem. I said, is there anybody here? No one's allowed in because my family's not there. It's just my team guys. So they're not allowed in. But here's your phone. So he hands me my phone. I put a camera on to see my face and I go, God damn, I was ugly before, but this is
now I'm beat up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you had a hell of a shiner.
Yeah. So anyways, I go to sit up to take a picture, and dude, I sit up and that room starts spinning. I mean, I'm talking like, and I have to all I did was go from laid back to like this. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm about to puke, you know what I mean? And so then I'm starting to get memories. I remember waking up for like 10 seconds. I think I was in the emergency room. I don't know. They were moving me. And I woke up and all I did was projectile vomit everywhere. That's all I did. And then it passed back out. That's all I remember. So the thing that's taken the longest is it was really just bumps and bruises physically, but it was my head, man. I couldn't go from laying down in bed to standing up for a good 3 weeks without the room spinning. I mean, I'm not talking like a little dizzy. I'm talking like you better be holding on because it's bad. And then training and stuff, like if I just laid down in the gym on the turf and it has bright LED lights, you look at those LED lights, forget it. You can't do it. I had to wear sunglasses in the gym for a month.
It's weird.
That's scary.
Concussion protocol.
It's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all that stuff, and then the rest of my body was just, the first couple of weeks was just weird. I'd never taken an impact like that, you know? So the data logger, my AIM, of course, you know, on my emotional support computer, it went from 100 and the impact was like 119 miles an hour, I believe, is when I made impact. And I hit the motor of another boat dead on and broke the motor off the transom and then broke the center section. So it samples 20 times a second for speed on GPS in that boat. So it went 119, 7 miles per hour, 0.
Wow.
Those were the 3 samples it had.
So it dug in
and it was
hard.
14 feet. 14 feet to go from 119 to 0.
That's insane.
So it maxed all the G meters. I don't know what it was. A brick wall.
Yeah, brick wall.
Yeah. Sean,
So I go
have you
back
seen...
to the.
Sorry, go ahead. Have you seen post video of how quickly the rescue guys got to you?
No, so I haven't seen the video at all, but I went and talked to the rescue guys. So Osprey, I've known Osprey since the time they've been there the entire time I've been there for all 14 years or 13 years, whatever it's been. And it's the same group of guys for the most part. They've shuffled in new guys now, but that have been around forever. So they've saved me before, and I see them all the time, and they're great guys, and they're really, really good at their job. But one of the reasons I wanted to get back to the race site so bad is I didn't know what happened. I didn't know if I drowned. I didn't know if they had to revive me. I didn't know. I had no idea, right? So I went and talked to them and was just asking them, like, what happened? And they said they got to me. The airbag had righted the boat. So those, for people that don't know, the Formula One boats over there, they have an airbag system. So behind the cockpit, a big airbag inflates, and then on the back of the deck, there's these discs, and they pop up. And when they pop up, it sinks the back of the boat and rights the boat for you. So if you're upside down, it'll right the boat usually within 10 seconds. And it did that. So I never drowned, thankfully. I just was sitting in the boat. So they got to me. I'm just sitting in the boat, and they said, you were non-responsive, but you were non-responsive, but you were breathing. So we just took our time, got you on a backboard, and then once you got on the backboard, you were fighting us because you wanted to get your helmet off. That's when the first time you were responsive, but I don't remember any of that shit. So I just wanted to talk to those guys, and Case, I know, has the full video because they told me. So Case does our Formula One stuff for years over there. The same guys that are doing all the Class 1 stuff here and super stock stuff in P1. He has a full HD video of the entire rescue and everything that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But I do want to see it. Just to see how it was. Because they didn't so on those DACs, you can take the big canopy off, like where the glass is. You can take that whole piece off. It's just got 2 clips and the whole thing slides off. Whereas so you don't have to just come out the top like we normally would when we strap in. But they didn't take that off. So we wanted to see why they didn't do that, and just a few things just to understand and maybe make the boats better. But it was, man, it was a crazy thing. And then, when you get home and your wife, and I keep referencing her, but part of the reason I can do all this stuff, I've been with my wife, for people that don't know, I've been with my wife for 27 years, since we were 17 years old. She's, she's always by my side. So when you get home and you lay down and she says, I'm just happy to have you home, I can't live without you. You start thinking about, all that, all those things, right? You're going, I just, you gotta understand what you're doing. But the boat's so damn good. The safety's so good. The rescue's so good. I mean, the reality is I had that crash that if it wasn't for my neck restraint saved my life. But other than that, I walked away for the most part. I mean, I had a really bad concussion, but I walked away. I was in the paddock the next day at 1:00 in the afternoon. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Myrick, you have some questions for Sean?
I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're all right.
Yeah,
some people probably aren't, but I'm glad you're all right.
Oh, there's plenty that aren't. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee that. But you know how you know when it's bad, Myrick? Is you get back to the paddock, right? And there's a lot of people that hate me in Formula One. If you think people hate me there, man, do they really hate me there. Okay, so, hate me here, they really hate me there. So when you get back to the paddock and people that frigging hate you. They won't even say to you. They come up and they hug you and they go, "I'm glad you're okay." And you're like, "Man, this must have been really."
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
People that never
So-
talk to you or give you the side eye all the time are like giving you hugs. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that, by the way, the thing that I'm most proud of in Formula One, and actually in most of my racing, but in Formula One specifically, is any team or people that I've actually raced with, I have great relationships with. Like they're lifelong friends.
Mhm.
Most of the people that can't stand me don't really know me. And
Yeah.
that's pretty normal in life these days. You know what I mean? They think
Yeah.
they know you. They think they know what you're about, but they don't really know you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why I like doing stuff like this, is because it gets to show a little bit more of what we, how we actually communicate,
Interact.
do things.
Yeah.
They just see me walk around and, I realize I come off like an asshole. Like, I don't mean to, but I do sometimes. I get it.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is, like, if you want my opinion, just ask me. I'm going to give it to you. So, or don't ask me for that
Well,
matter.
you don't
I'll
need
just
to
give it to you
ask
anyways.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess that's why you and
so-
Flavia make such a good couple. She's such a sweetheart to everybody, and so she kind of covers for you.
Hold on. Let me let you in on a secret. Y'all don't know the real Flavia like that, okay? She's way meaner than I am, okay? But everybody thinks she's just the sweetest thing in the world. So she's way meaner than I am. But the problem is that she's much better looking than I am too. That's why she gets away with all that stuff.
That helps. That definitely
Good to
helps.
know,
Exactly. Yeah, watch out, Ray. She'll cut a bitch quick.
That's the same way with Missy.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I got jumped one time, and because I was mouthing, but lots of big dudes jumped me, and because I was mouthing, and next thing I know, she hit somebody with a beer bottle. I'm like, "Miss, you're gonna get killed. Don't do that." So,
Dang, she went straight
Yeah.
gangster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what
Yep,
happens all
that's
the time? Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too. She's always the one that's like, "I don't trust that guy. He's not right. Don't trust him." And usually she's right. Is the problem?
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Good judge
it is
of
what it
character.
Well, Shaun, I want to thank you for joining us. This has been an hour and a half, so this is going to be a two-parter. So thank you. Time just flew by, but great conversation. So thank you
Cool.
for joining us.
Well, I
on the
appreciate y'all having
podcast.
me, and thank
Yeah.
you for letting it go wherever it goes. I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
I didn't want
that
it
was
to
fun.
be so rigid.
No, it's easy. That's the way most of them are. It's like, oh, that was an hour or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, we could keep rolling. It's something. This is what we do every day. Talk about boats, talk about racing, talk about family. That's what it's all about.
It's essentially
That's
how
it.
this podcast started because Myrick said, there's not a podcast out there and people talking about boats.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. So yeah, I
Anyway,
appreciate
champ,
you having me.
thank you very much for coming on with us. This has been another episode of the Boats and Bros podcast with world champion Shaun Torrente and my bro Myrick Coil. Please remember to like, rate, subscribe, and share. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you, Shaun.
This podcast is powered by Speedboat Magazine. Subscribe now at speedboat.com for 9 power-packed current issues a year direct to your mailbox.